Hello, Frizzle Forum. We have seen Wheel of Time Season 2 and are ready to review it for you scathingly. I have read all of the books 2 times.
And I have only seen Season 2. Not Season 1, just the second one.
So we have some very different perspectives on some of these moments, but we've decided that we're organizing our review by all the plot lines in the show. As you can see, there's a whole lot of them.
There are a lot.
Like, too many, right? So part of this game is we're also deciding which plot lines we would cut. We're going to be working through these plot lines from our least favorite to our most favorite and talking about all of them. How about you go first?
Okay.
Which one is your least favorite of these plot lines?
The Varen investigation.
I would not put that one so low, but that's our number 14, I guess. That's what I get for making you go first. So, Varen is one of the Aes Sedai at the White Tower, and she notices that Liandrin, which we're going to talk about later, is doing some shady stuff, so she investigates. That's the whole plotline.
That's the whole plotline. I mean, it kind of goes somewhere, but not a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure she's important in the books, but in the show, she was kind of more of a side character that didn't always need to be there, and so it just kind of felt like shoving a character that the book fans would like in just to shove them in. That
is what they did. I did like all the Varen moments because I have love for her from the books. I think she's one of the best characters of the books. Not quite as good as some of the main characters, but you know, the best side character. And I did like her investigating, but you're right, it doesn't add anything really to the other plots.
She's a fun character, but everything that she did could have been done by another character.
Or not done at all.
Or not done at all.
It didn't really go anywhere.
No, it didn't.
Okay, my turn to pick my least favorite. I think it's gotta go to Seanchan Suroth.
That's not the one I thought you were gonna pick.
Ooh! Having some real spicy takes over here. Which one's the worst plotline?
That one's definitely the lower one.
So, Suroth is part of the Seanchan army that is the invading force that's one of the many antagonists of the season. And she's a dark friend, so she's serving the evil overlords and following Shamael. And that's it.
That's it.
But there's a whole lot of conversations between her and Shamael where Shamael is like, do this thing. And she's like, but how will that get me better power in my own military and political system? And then Shamael's like, just do it. She's like, okay.
All she does is whine.
And she really didn't need to be there. They could have just had him ordering around Seanchan people without them actually having like their own plot lines.
Yeah.
Okay, you choose your next least favorite.
All right. I'm gonna go with Moraine's nephew. Moraine, while she's chasing down Rand, who's in Cairhien, she stops by her kind of childhood home where she grew up, talks with her sister for a bit, who has a son. First of all, the nephew doesn't ever really do anything. He's just kind of there to be like, oh, Moraine, you're so great, eat my sandwiches.
And then they give him a plot.
And then they give him a plot by making him into a dark friend, which is how he's getting married to the queen, but that wasn't...
It also doesn't go anywhere.
It also doesn't go anywhere because he just gets caught immediately.
And it would have been so much more powerful if the dark friend in that family had been Moraine's sister, who she has a relationship with.
Because there had already been some conflict there already. Playing off of that more would have been a lot more effective than introducing another character for no reason. Which is a thing that the season does a lot.
As you can tell by the number of plot lines here.
We might be missing some.
We'll figure it out as we go. I'm sure we'll remember some of them. So, now I get to pick my next least favorite. I think I'm going to give it to Perrin and Aviendha. So Perrin in this season, he has more plot lines that we'll talk about later, but Perrin and Aviendha is this plot line where Perrin, our strong wolf boy, rescues one of the desert warriors, one of the Aiel, named Aviendha. And then Aviendha is like, great, I'm gonna tag along with you now, because I owe you like a blood debt. And,
That's it.
That's it.
That's all it goes.
And then the plotline does go some places where they journey around and they meet up with some other Aiel, Aviendha's friends, and then they get to show off Aiel culture a little bit, but it felt so, like, weirdly exploitative. Because it was just like, hey look, it's a foreign culture, they're weird! And that was it. I didn't feel like Aviendha was really like a full character in the show, and she and Perrin didn't really have any dynamic, and it was just so boring it didn't go anywhere.
And if it had ever like contributed to the final battle, it could have been interesting, but maybe that should be its own plot, the final battle, but...
Let's add it! Not the final battle.
No, the final battle of the season.
The final battle of season 2 only.
And should we also do Perrin and the Seanchan?
There is the whole thing where what's-his-face dies with the eye patch. Yeah, we can add that.
Blue.
Oh, yeah. You know how many times he had to correct me about what color we were on when we were just alternating colors. This is like the 5th time. I am not good at this.
Okay, that's the end of our board, so hopefully we don't have to add anymore.
We can start adding them on the sides. Okay, do either of these belong below these ones? Yes.
Yes.
I think I would rate Perrin and Shan-Chan the worst, honestly.
I would say it's 15 or 16 for sure.
Great, that's easy. Okay, so Perrin and the Shan-Chan, which we both agree is the worst plotline that is so
Easily
forgettable
the worst
that
plotline of
we
the season.
didn't even remember it existed.
Takes up like probably about 20 to 30% of the screen time of the first half of the season, and it doesn't go anywhere.
No, it's just Perrin is there as the Shan-Chans start to invade. That's it.
That's it.
Some minor characters die, somewhat important in the
Like
books.
Eye Patch Guy.
Eye Patch Guy.
Don't remember his name, but he had an eye patch. There we go.
Because he's got one eye, right?
And he's one of the horn people. And it's really just him wandering around being sad.
Oh no, there's an invading army and my friend died!
My friend died and my wife died and everyone's dead.
So you get to pick least favorite of these ones.
I think I'm gonna go with Perrin and White Cloaks.
All of Perrin's
They're all bad.
Real bad. Okay, now we're on number 10 then.
So this plotline is after he escapes from the Shan-Chan, he keeps wandering around and he meets the wolf people. Perrin and the wolf people. So he meets the wolf people.
We'll just add that on.
Yeah, it's
it
basically
doesn't super belong here, but okay.
I mean, it kind of does because it ties in later.
Now,
But-
I think one of the marks of how bad all of Perrin's plotlines are is that they're so disconnected we can't even put them all on. Like, at least, Rand, his plotline is one plotline.
One plotline.
Right?
Maybe 2 because it ties into Moiraine. That's really Moiraine's
But,
problem.
Perrin has 1, 2, 3, 4 separate plotlines, and they all rank very low.
So this one is after he escapes from the Shan-Chan, he just kind of keeps wandering around until he runs into the wolf people who set him free from the Shan-Chan. And then he wanders around with the wolf people, and the wolf people make fun of him for being sad that his wife is dead. So he leaves them and continues wandering around. And he accidentally runs into the White Cloaks, who have one of the 𝐂𝐈𝐍𝐻𝐈𝐋𝐄𝐒 captive. And so he decides that that's not cool. And so he sets her free, and the whole blood debt thing. And then the White Cloaks are all like, heretic, you set one of the red-haired people free. Now we're all gonna die. That's it until the last episode, when all of a sudden the White Cloak Perrin plotline comes back. The main White Cloak guy's dad kills his wolf friend, and so he gets really mad and kills the dad, and then the guy's son gets really mad at him.
To be continued.
To be continued. Doesn't even resolve.
Yeah, so
it's just overly complicated. We don't need it. Get rid of it all.
Yeah, honestly, if I was cutting out plotlines, all the ones currently numbered, just cut out Perrin entirely from this season, or attach him to another plotline.
Yeah, Perrin plotlines can be gotten rid of. The 𝐂𝐸ℎ𝐿 plotline can be gotten rid of. The nephew plotline can be gotten rid of. Verin can stay as long as you fix it. It doesn't need to stay, but you could do something with it. At least that'd be interesting.
Her investigation should come to something.
Yes.
Instead of just be investigating and then there's no conclusion. Okay, my turn to pick. Now we're starting to get into the plotlines that I actually
Yeah,
don't
those are
hate,
actually not
which
bad.
is a very low bar, but
Yeah.
I don't hate any of the plotlines left. I think next least favorite, Liandrin. Liandrin is one of the Aes Sedai at the White Tower. She is also an evil dark friend. And she's also conflicted about it because she has a son who is dying, and she wants him to not be dying.
Which is why she became a dark friend, to save her son.
But then it didn't work.
It didn't work because Lanfear just shows up and murders him.
Yeah. Anyway, so she does some evil things. She does some mean things to some of the characters. She's important a little bit to Nynaeve
The girls
and
in
the
tower,
Arches.
Nynaeve
And,
and the
yeah.
Arches.
I feel like there are so many villains in this season
Too many villains.
that we definitely need to cut down on some of them. And if we were cutting any of them, I would cut Liandrin.
Cut Liandrin for sure. Cut Suroth for sure.
Oh yeah, no, first, I even forgot about Suroth.
Again.
So forgettable. Okay, so yes, cut these 2. And then I think we're down to enough villains. Okay, your turn to pick.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Lan.
Okay, yeah, a lot of his plotline was bad, but I didn't think it ranked so low.
Could have been very interesting, but it wasn't. His plotline is Moiraine gets stilled. She gets all sad, and so she cuts her bond with Lan, and then he gets all sad. So the whole season, probably for the first 5 or 6 episodes, he's just sad. And that's his whole character.
I
is
did
that he's
forget how
sad.
bad that was, yeah.
he's sad and he's like, oh, but Moiraine, she'll take me back if I do something. And so he's like kind of chasing her around, and then Varen and them start getting suspicious, maybe thinking he's a dark friend.
And that's the land plot line.
That's the land plot line. Eventually it gets interesting later when he meets up with Moiraine and they make up and then they do cool stuff.
Yeah.
But before that, majority of the season, not doing anything.
I think in contrast to most of the characters we've talked about so far, like Perrin and Avienda and Leandrin and Suroth, like, I think Lan is a good character. His plotline isn't good.
Yeah.
But at
Good
least
character.
his character is
Yeah,
good.
he's a good character for sure. Keep him, for sure. You just need to change his plot.
Maybe have him tagging along with Moiraine,
Yeah.
so their angst with each other is
Mhm.
more, like, present and can actually come out in conflict, instead of just moping.
Yeah.
Your turn!
Yeah, I chose land.
Oh, my turn!
Now it's getting kind of tough.
Now it is getting tougher.
These are all of, like, the good plot lines. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Girls at Tower.
Now,
So
this
there
isn't
are
a bad plot line. It's
Yeah,
just like we've got to narrow it down. It's not the girls.
I think like 7 up, now we can say like these are okay plot lines.
Yeah.
Not quite good yet, but like they're okay.
Yeah,
We can
we'll,
keep them.
we'll get to the good plot lines.
There's a few of them.
There's a few.
There's like at
Maybe-
least 2 good plot lines.
Maybe 2. There's like 2. Maybe 3.
We'll see. So, Girls at the Tower, there are 3 girls training to be Aes Sedai at the White Tower.
We've got
We've got
Egwene,
Egwene,
Nynaeve, and what's her face?
Elaine.
Elaine.
But yes, she is kind of what's her face energy. And it's just them kind of learning how to do magic.
I mean, you've got the
And then
interpersonal conflicts
Yeah.
where Egwene is all like, I room with Nynaeve and she's the best and I'll never live up to it, and now I'm all sad because she's the best and she's getting all the attention. And then Elaine is like, I'm just a rich girl who's here because I'm rich.
so you could have it worse. You could just be a rich girl here because she's rich. Yeah.
But
so
she is actually pretty.
that's why this ranks so high, is at least there's some interpersonal conflict and relationships happening with the girls at the tower plot
And it
line.
also ties into another really neat plot line, Nynaeve and the Arches, that we'll get to later.
Your turn to
Now,
pick.
I have to pick?
It is getting harder, isn't it?
It is getting harder. I think I'm going to go to Nynaeve and the Arches.
Mm.
I think, so this plot line is that Leandrin notices that Nynaeve is like stupidly powerful and is like attacking her all the time, trying to get her to channel.
You know, good
Recommends-
mentor
Yeah.
moves to
And
do.
recommends to the upper Aes Sedai that she become a full Aes Sedai. That all happens, and Nynaeve ends up going through the arches. She goes through the first 2 pretty fine, but she gets stuck in the last arch.
And this is the test to become a full Aes Sedai. There are these magical arches that show you visions.
Yeah. So she gets stuck in the last one, the door opens, and she decides to stay, because it's all about, like, this parallel universe where everything is fine, and she marries Lan and has a family, until the evil monsters show up and kill everyone. And it's theoretically an interesting plotline.
You could see how well we were doing so far. We've got into a plotline that is theoretically interesting.
The main problem with it is that it kind of contradicts itself, because the whole point of the arches is that the door is only going to show up one time, and you either leave the arches and pass the test, or you stay inside and get lost forever and you're basically dead. And the door opens, and she stays. And now she's stuck. But then, of course, later the door just opens again because reasons, and she's able to leave. There are quite a few ways that I would have changed this. Well, my personal favorite, I don't think would work with the lore, but I like it anyway, is that somehow Egwene ends up going through the arches as well, and she ends up meeting Nynaeve and bringing her back through the arches. And now everyone's like, oh, but is this even the real Nynaeve, or is this just an arch Nynaeve?
That would have been pretty cool.
I don't know if that works with the
But
lore.
that would have been
but-
adding an extra plot line, and we don't
yes,
need
we don't need
extra
another
ones.
plot line. So realistically, because Egwene and the other girls already show up there to try and save her, so I think realistically, they try and open the gates at the same time that Nynaeve is doing some weird channeling inside the arches that also wasn't supposed to be possible, because you need 3 Aes Sedai to open the gates, and because all 3 of them are there trying to channel, it opens them again, and she's able to get out.
I think that
Probably
could work
what I
better
would've
than
done
what
instead.
happened,
Yeah.
which was nothing, just breaking
Yeah.
the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Should we go do laundry?
We can finish this
Okay.
up. It only takes like 10 more minutes, probably. Are we really already down to 5? With
Mhm.
1,
2,
2, 3, 4,
5, 6.
6 plot lines left. So the best one's gonna be 0.
Okay, this one is 0.
Okay, I think I'm gonna give 5 to Shamael plotting. So Shamael,
Now, in my opinion, at this point, we are at the plot lines that are pretty okay. This one is interesting, in my opinion. I like it, Shamael.
So once you get up to 5, you reach pretty okay levels.
Like, this one is an interesting plot line that is coherent and followable.
The bar is so low. Okay, so this interesting, coherent, and followable plotline is about 𝐂𝐿𝐒, one of the main villains. He's like this immortal guy, and his goal is to destroy the whole world. Because he's like, the world, it's got suffering in it. We can fix that by just destroying it all.
We need to break the cycle of reincarnation and free the world from this wheel prison that it's in.
And I think he works really well as a villain, because he definitely always feels super intimidating. And having the occasional snippets of him plotting things and moving pieces around helps that.
He's a really, really cool villain. He also makes a really interesting counterpoint to Lanfear, between the two different ways they're trying to go about their goals. I mean, their goals aren't really the same, but, well, kind of. They both want Rand to be a dark friend. 𝐂𝐿𝐒 is going about it by, like, getting to all of his other friends and making them evil so that he'll turn evil so they don't have to be. Whereas Lanfear is just like, come, Rand, it's me.
Your girlfriend.
Your girlfriend from 3,000 years ago, don't you remember?
Yeah, hey, she's also the girlfriend in the present.
So he does a lot of stuff with the Shan-Chan, and he does a lot of stuff with Liandrin. He's a really intimidating villain until he dies.
That's the final battle plotline.
Well, kind of.
Okay, your turn to pick.
Next, I'm gonna go with Matt and Min. With the caveat, because the Matt and Min plotline is very separate from the exclusively Matt plotline that I would put with the final battle. And that plotline is great. One of the best in the series, in my opinion.
Just making a note so we remember to talk about that.
Whereas the Matt and Min plotline was also very interesting until... So the whole thing with this is that...
both Matt and Min
have been captured by Liandrin, being held prisoner in the tower. I don't know how that happened in season 1.
He was really good at rolling with the punches on this show.
They're held prisoner, and they start talking, and they become friends, and eventually the whole thing with Nynaeve and the Arches happens. And Liandrin decides to set Matt free, and Matt brings along Min. It turns out that Liandrin wasn't sad at all about the Arches, and was just setting them free on purpose, because Min is almost a dark friend, almost. 𝐂𝐿𝐒 is appearing in her dreams and being like, I know that you can, like, see the future of people, and that makes you really sad. Well, if you become a dark friend, I can take that away, and you won't do that anymore. And so she's delivering Matt to 𝐿𝐼𝐍𝐻 so that Matt leaves with Rand for 𝐂𝐿𝐒 so that 𝐂𝐿𝐒's plan can happen.
Pretty convoluted.
Yeah,
the thing is, like, at the moment when Matt and Min were becoming friends, I was like, I love this plotline.
Because
like,
it's so good.
It's so good. They're such good characters that bounce off each other. Like, their personalities, like, work. I love their dynamic. I love how they're both, like, the sarcastic jokesters, and, like, their banter was top tier. And when they started leaving the prison together,
so ready.
I was like, this is the first good plotline of the show, because it happened kind of early before the other good plotlines developed, and, like, I was like, this is the best. I can't wait for Matt and Min hijinks. And then, like, a scene later.
Yeah, one scene later.
They're like, by the way, Min is working with Liandrin and about to betray Matt. And then the plotline never goes anywhere. Like, they don't have any hijinks where they're traveling together or anything. It's just like the next time you see them, Min is like being like, sorry, Matt, I'm about to betray you, but now I'm feeling bad about it because we're friends.
Because Matt meets Rand, figures out Rand isn't dead. And Matt's like, hey, Min, I've decided that I'm gonna leave with my bud Matt. And Min's like, don't do that, actually. That's 𝐂𝐿𝐒's plan, and now you're gonna kill Rand. And Matt's like, you're just working with the dark friend people trying to keep me from my best friend, and leaves anyway. And then he eventually ends up stabbing Rand.
In the final battle plotline. So now we are down to final battle. Egwene captured. Moraine, Rand, and Lanfear. Okie doke. Number 3 gets to go to Moraine. So, at the end of season 1, surprise! Moraine lost all of her power. 𝐂𝐿𝐒, like, twisted it, so now she can't use magic. And that's a big deal, because she's like the Gandalf figure of the books. In the show, it's a little different.
She's still kind of...
So
she's
really powerful and trying to support and guide all the other people in the show, and now she's real sad because she lost her magic. And honestly, I think some of her explorations of, like, now she's real sad because she lost her magic are some of the best, like, internal character conflicts of the show. Especially as she goes home to her childhood manor house and interacts with her sister, there's quite a bit of, like, angst between them because she hasn't been home for like decades.
Yeah, once
and
we
they
get
feel
to
kind of
3,
abandoned.
these are the plot lines that are like, this is a good plot line. 4 out of 16.
The top 4 out of 16 plot lines are good.
Yes.
There's a lot of angst with her, and she's kind of exploring things, and then she finally realizes that even though she doesn't have her magic, she can still be of help, and that's when she starts getting back involved in Rand's plotline, where until that moment, she was kind of avoiding getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I think her character arc, like wow, a character arc, we have finally reached a plotline that has one of those, of going from really feeling like crippled and like she's lost all of her self-confidence into actually helping out Rand, and becoming an active member of the plot again was really strong.
Moraine eventually decides to go take Rand to the Amyrlin because the Amyrlin is all upset.
It was the leader of the Aes Sedai.
Yes. That ends up having to happen because Lan brings him there because Lan is doing who knows what. And Rand meets the Amyrlin and the Amyrlin's like, alright, I've decided that the best thing to do with the dragon is to put him under our control and still him, and he will only be able to channel when I say so. And Moraine is like, but what's her face? We have such a history together.
Because they're kind of ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, they're ex-lovers. And, no, Moiraine, you've already failed and you haven't done anything and you're breaking the rules of the Aes Sedai and you didn't even tell me that you'd been stilled.
They have a really good confrontation.
Yeah,
you can see their relationship and all this past angst. And then
Lanfear shows up.
Lanfear shows up and whisks Moraine and Rand away to participate in the final battle plotline. Your turn to pick.
I'm gonna go with Rand and Lanfear.
Ooh. The final battle ranking quite high.
It's because of that guy.
Because of Matt.
It's exclusively because of Matt. After Rand, quote-unquote, dies, according to every other character in the show, he runs away to Cairhien and he meets this lady named Selene, who kind of takes him in under her wing and they kind of start dating. And surprise, surprise, Selene was actually Lanfear the whole time.
Who is one of the Forsaken.
One of the evil guys.
Who is one of the top dark friends.
Yeah, working with the Shamael, kind of. So they become super good friends, then Moiraine shows up.
You're dating one of the Forsaken!
You're dating a Forsaken and, like, stabs her through the chest. After they're, like, mid-sleeping together, just, like, stabs her through the chest. And Rand is like, what is going on? And Moraine's like, you're sleeping with a Forsaken, come with me.
And then Lanfear just recovers from that because they're, like, immortal. Because they're the top dark friends.
And
I love Rand and Lanfear's dynamic throughout the season, where Lanfear is keep being like, so I know that you know now that I'm a Forsaken, but hear me out. That doesn't mean we don't have. We can still date. I still like you. You still like me, right? Like, just join our side. I can give you a lot of power. You can save your friends. Come on. And I love her. She's such a good character.
Because Rand and Moiraine kind of team up for a little bit, and Lanfear appears in Rand's dream and is like, hey, so I know that you know and all that stuff. And she's like, but Egwene is currently in trouble, Matt is currently in trouble, Perrin is currently in trouble, and Moiraine isn't doing anything about it. But you know who does know stuff about it? Me. I know all of the stuff. And if you help me, then I can help you help them.
Yeah, so it's a really solid plotline. I think it's solid because... Oh, I forgot a plotline!
Oh, what's that?
We have Rand at the sanatorium.
Oh, yeah!
Which is very separate from Rand and Lanfear.
Where are we gonna put that one?
Wait, let's finish up talking about this one first, then we can rank that one. So, I really love this plotline because it gives something for Rand to do. He has big internal conflict because you can tell he does kind of still like Lanfear, and Lanfear still likes him, and he does want to take the deal she's taking. She is a Forsaken, and he's been taught his whole life that these are the top tier evil people, so of course he shouldn't, but he kind of wants to, and like it's got really good internal conflict, and I just love their banter relationship. Like, not before she was outed as Lanfear, because it was kind of boring when she was just Selene, but afterwards, solid.
Super interesting. It's better than all of the Perrin plots, for sure. I don't know if it's better than Leandrin.
Yeah.
Better than Leandrin?
It's worse than Leandrin.
Okay.
But better than Perrin and the White Cloaks. Yeah, that's not where I would put it.
We're gonna put it at 9.5.
9.5. So, before things get exciting with Rand's plotline where he's dating Lanfear and all of that drama, he is working at a sanatorium where they're keeping one of the male channelers who has since been gentled, Logain.
I assume he's from season 1.
He is from season 1. I remember when the show was first getting planned and I was really following a lot of the press releases and stuff, they were telling the fans that they were going to give Logain a bigger part in the series than he has in the books, and everyone was excited about this because he's a really interesting, compelling character, and then they gave him this plotline, and It ranks 9.5.
Yeah, so this is Rand working at the sanatorium, and his sole reason for working at the sanatorium is to get closer to 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐻 so 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐻 can teach him to channel. That's it. That's like the whole plot line.
Yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere, because he never actually learns anything from 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐻.
𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐻 says no, and then spouts some vague, like, you already know how to channel.
Yeah, he doesn't really do anything but spout crazy sentences and be angsty.
Yeah. He does show up again later when Moiraine is trying to find Rand. She goes
spout
there
more crazy
to
sentences
spout more
and be
crazy
angsty.
sentences, and then Moiraine is like, hey, if I give you a knife so that you can kill yourself, tell me where Rand is, and he does, and then she doesn't give him a knife anyway. And then Lan shows up later to also find out where Rand is, and Lan is like, hey, I'll give you a knife if you tell me where Rand is. And then he tells him, and then he doesn't give him a knife anyway.
So that's where his plotline is.
So he's just being manipulated by three of the main characters by this pretty much the exact same way every time.
We are down to the top 2 plot lines. The final battle of season 2, especially Matt's part in it, and Egwene captured. Whose turn is it to pick? This is the big decision here.
I think I did Rand and Lanfear, so I think it's yours.
Okay.
It's a powerful choice. I think I would have gone the other way around. Again, exclusively because of Matt.
So.
Because this plotline is really good.
They're both really good. At the end of the show, I really love how it does this. That there's the classic Wheel of Time move, where throughout the book, all the characters are separate, and then like for the finale of the book, they all kind of accidentally get faded into the same location, all to participate in the same climactic event. And that's what happens at the end of season 2, and it was super cool.
Like, one of my favorite non-Matt scenes of the final battle was White Cloak guy runs into Perrin, who they've been separate for a while, and he's just like, wait, you're here?
Because everyone's here. It's the final battle of season 2, not the final battle.
Yeah, so everyone shows up. Perrin and the Aiel show up and don't really do anything. The people who got captured by the Shan-Chan earlier by Surath end up stealing the Horn of Valir, which is also probably a separate plotline we should have had on here, but not super important. They steal the Horn of Valir and escape, and they're like, we should really take this horn out of here. And then the Ogier is like, no, that's what cowards would do. We're heroes. We've got to keep it right here in the middle of the armies and keep it safe. So that's what they decide to do. And because of that decision, immediately one of them dies.
So everyone's here for the final battle. It's the Shan-Chan armies are coming in and taking over the city. The White Cloaks are coming in and trying to repel the Shan-Chan. Lanfear and Ashamale are both there trying to turn Rand to the dark side and trying to manipulate him through capturing his friends. And there's all this plotline of Egwene, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Egwene and the Shan-Chan, Nynaeve and What's-Her-Face trying to save Egwene. We've got Moiraine and Lan, who got, kind of kicked out of Falme, going towards Falme, and they eventually save Rand from being stilled by Ashamale and Surath. And then we got Matt.
So, Matt has been captured by Ashamale from the Matt and Min plotline where Min was kind of betraying him.
And he gets locked in a room, gets some tea that shows him, all of his past selves, maybe, that are all, crazy murderers. And then he gets locked in a room again with the dagger from season 1 that is driving him crazy or something.
He only knows the vague sentences I've given him about season 1.
Yes. So he gets locked in a room with that, and the guy who locks him in is all like, you're not getting out of here unless you touch that dagger again. And so he's in there for an hour, and he's like, oh no, what am I going to do? It keeps calling to me. Eventually I'm going to touch the dagger. So instead, he rips out this wooden post from the bed, and he ties the dagger to the end of it and makes a spear out of the dagger.
I love this moment.
It's so good.
It's so not what happens in the books. It's also not how the dagger works in season 1 because it kind of becomes like a lightsaber blade that can cut through anything. But it's so Matt. It stays so true to the character. It's not book accurate at all, but it is Matt accurate for him to have this interesting problem solving of coming up with the weirdest solution that works so well. And I love it because also Matt's signature weapon in the books is a spear, and now he has a spear that can cut through anything, that if you touch the head of it, you're gonna get addicted and die of dark magic, and it's so cool! I love it!
Yeah, so Matt breaks out of the room and gets chased by Shan-Chan soldiers. So he runs away and accidentally runs into Perrin and the Aiel and the people who got captured by Surath. And they're like, hey, we can hold off the soldiers. Here, have the horn. Go take it to Rand. And so he grabs the horn. He like cuts open the box, which was kind of a terrible idea. Could have ruined the horn forever. But takes the horn and starts running up the tower to where Rand is to give it to him. And ends up getting surrounded by Seanchan soldiers. So he decides to blow the horn himself. And summons all these heroes from the past, including Eye Patch Guy. They fight Seanchan soldiers and win, and then Matt makes it up to the top, and it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I love is the design of the horn. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen so many people on the internet right now saying how terrible it looks. I love it. Like, it's so cool and, like, weirdly futuristic and, like, really not fitting this time, and it, like, works so well as a relic that's both from the past and from the future because time is cyclical. Like, I love... Let me just say a quick aside. If we were ranking things about the show, I would rank above all of these, like literally all the plotlines, even the ones that I like, would be costuming and set designs and props.
It's really good.
It's so solid. Like, every single outfit of this show is perfect.
I think
for that character, for the time, for the place that they're in, for like everything, and it all looks so good.
I think one of my favorite parts about the costuming in particular is Lanfear. I'm like 99% sure that she's wearing a slightly different costume in every scene, depending on like the amount of what specific color ratios are behind her, who she's talking to, what her goal is.
She switches outfits so much. Like, Perrin is pretty much wearing the exact same outfit for the entire show because he's just like traveling on the road. It works. Lanfear, every single scene is in a completely new outfit, and it's so her.
It works really well.
And another thing I loved is the costuming in Cairhien, and which is like culturally kind of, you know, and also like costume-wise, a mix of like Victorian England,
Japan.
Yeah, and that like mix of it's so good. All the costuming, all the props, all the sets, like A+. Also the Seanchans, all the costuming thing, like it looks so good and so different from everyone else, like perfect. Nailed it.
Yeah, we saw the horn on screen for the first time, and she had to like pause it and be like, I need to model this. How would it sound? What would it sound like? Give me a couple hours, I can figure it out.
So cool! It has like all these slits on top, like, I'm obsessed!
So Matt blows the horn and then leaves the heroes of the horn to fight the Seanchan while he runs up to Rand. Rand at this point has been stilled by a Shamail at the top of the tower. Shielded.
Stilled is the permanent one.
Yes. Shielded at the top of the tower because he went up there to save Egwene. Shamail's there shielding him. Matt shows up with the spear and he's like, Shamail's back is to me. I could probably just like wreck him right now. And so he throws the spear, but turns out a Shamail was just an illusion and he stabs Rand.
Which was such a good twist.
Which was prophesied by Min to be a little different because she, in her vision, it was without the spear, it was just the dagger that
stab. But it still happened, and like the fact that prophecy came true and was important and came true in a surprising way was like, yes, chef's kiss. That moment.
And then the whole battle with Shamail is really cool too because everyone except Perrin helps.
Perrin just sits there.
Elaine heals Rand kind of from the wound after being shot in the knee with an arrow. Nynaeve brings Elaine there, and that's it. Matt stabs Rand, and that's it. Egwene, like, goes solo on Shamail, just, like, protecting everyone from, like, probably, like, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It's just protecting everyone from a Forsaken by herself. Meanwhile, Moiraine and Lan are traveling. They see the boats that the Seanchan are on that are shielding Rand, and Moiraine does something weird where she's like, I don't know who those are. We should destroy them. And Lan is like, alright, okay, whatever you say, mistress, and goes and like protects her, and she just like murks some random people that she doesn't know. Turns out she was right, but she didn't know that. Which stops Rand from being shielded, and then Rand is able to channel a sword and stabs a Shamail because he just kind of stands there and lets himself get stabbed. But it was cool. And kills a Shamail. The Shamail like dies.
Maybe really dead. Maybe we'll come back next season.
I kind of hope he's not really dead. But
same. Now we have reached the top plot line. Number 0. Imagine if we had to go into negatives. Like, okay, the best plot line, -4. So the best plotline of them all, hands down, is Egwene being captured. So really after the girls are at the tower and Nynaeve has her adventure with the arches, Liandrin betrays them to Seanchan Zura. The Seanchan they hate the Aes Sedai, they hate all the channelers, and they enslave them with these magical collars so they can't, like, disobey their masters. So Egwene gets collared and enslaved, and there's a whole plotline with her just being awesome, resisting her slave masters.
Doing her best.
Where they're trying to break her spirit and she's rebelling, and like every single one of those scenes was so compelling and raw and emotional and like, yes!
I think one of my favorite parts is that they really easily could have been like, made her slaver an objectively evil person. And I mean, she's not great. Rena isn't a great person, but she's not super evil. She's also kind of a victim of the Shan-Chan thing, which, I mean, isn't an excuse, but like, she's still trying to do her best against the darkness in her own way. And so, even still, you're kind of like, I mean, you're terrible, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, like, she is doing very evil things by enslaving Egwene, and you're always on Egwene's side, but she isn't being malicious about it.
Yeah, she's
like,
always
she's
trying
just
to be
like, this
friends.
is my job to train you. And we're gonna train you to be a good servant.
And we can be friends until you
And then Egwene is like, I will kill you!
And
she's
like, then I've got to cut out your tongue, I guess.
It's so good! Anyway, and then at the end, right before the final battle with everyone's showdown,
during this whole plotline, I had one burning question in my mind where I was like, what if Egwene gets a collar and collars Rena at the same time that she is collared by Rena? And the show actually answers that question.
So good. And they have a big showdown where Egwene wins because she has the stronger will and kind of tortures Rena until Rena sets her free. And then she kills Rena.
And then she kills her.
Which was, wow, what a girl boss moment. Egwene,
really
gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss icon over here.
Yeah,
and I love her.
I got a meme.
So good. And that's the wheel of plotlines. All 16 of them.
So we've got 0 to 3.
0 to 3
the good ones.
is good ones.
And then we've got 4. Where's 4?
4. So maybe like 4 through 8 are passable.
4 through 8 are okay. And then 9 through 16 are bad.
It's a good half the plot lines of the show. So the thing is, like, the show, it's got such interesting bones. Like, a lot of the plot lines are, some of the plot lines are solid. The costuming is great. I think the characters, all except for a few of them, especially ones in the lower plot lines, are good. There's just too many.
Yeah,
like,
too many characters.
If you had cut out all of the bad plot lines and just kept the okay and good ones, those okay and good ones could have become good and great.
Yeah,
just with the extra time and energy devoted to them.
These bad plot lines are also like half of the time of the show. So if you cut those out and then donate the remaining time that you saved to the other plot lines, they all could have been better.
Yeah, because most of the plot lines, they felt only okay, only good, because they didn't have enough time to them.
They were just kind of glossed over.
Please let us know in the comments what you think of Wheel of Time Season 2.